Live here.
Yep.
Hello,
All right, we are live.
everyone.
Hello, everybody. It is Friday night, so we are here to talk about writery stuff. I guess what we'll start with is everybody can introduce themselves. This is my channel, so I guess I'll just start. I'm Sarah Scharnweber. I'm the author of Suggestion 376 and Inside Darkness, and some short stories, which are too plentiful to name. But I am working now on a book called Hellspend, which I will have out as soon as I can. But that's about it. So I guess I'll alphabetical, so my first name, because that makes more sense to me. Alina.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alina. I'm a fiction writer, and I write gay fiction and urban fantasy. And under gay fiction, I write everything from paranormal to sci-fi with a strong touch of romance. And I'm from Romania, and still not a vampire, goddammit. But I'm still trying. So, yeah.
Let me know if you ever figure it out.
Well, if I figure that out, darling, I'm turning all of you, because I'm not going to put up with this shit forever on my own. Like,
Right?
I'm turning all my friends. I'm selfish. I don't care.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber Kraft. I am the author of Unknown Revenge on Amazon. I'm shopping around Unknown Love and writing Unknown Family. Yeah, all paranormal romance for this series anyway. So yeah, that's me.
All right, CJ.
I am an unpublished writer, and I do mainly fantasy fiction, but I'm currently working on a Christian chick lit novel, which still sounds like a gum.
It does. All right, so tonight we were going to talk a little bit about editing and like what our self-editing process is, ways to self-edit. I know that there are ways other than the ones that I use that I'm familiar with, so maybe we can share some of those too. And what are you doing? I have a Twitch problem. What's my Twitch problem? Sorry, I have a Twitch problem.
It's all good. We can wait while you fix it. I did open it, but didn't check it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got the notification, but I didn't check it.
Yeah, Travis was informed that he should intervene in the future because I had a problem last week and I didn't know about it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I see something now, but yay! Now it works.
Yeah. Good. Oh, he's going to check the audio on it. All right. So we were going to talk. Okay, he says I'm good. We were going to talk about how you edit yourself. I know, like, we all do different amounts of self-editing in this group, so I thought we also might do different kinds of self-editing. So that might be a really good thing to kind of for us to present. So I guess, does anyone have any immediate thoughts on editing yourself?
Multiple edits are best. I don't know.
So, like, okay, do you guys actually edit yourself? Alina, do you do your own editing at all, or?
Yes, I do. Not a lot. I go through the manuscript about once, maybe twice, once I'm finished. I usually let it sit for a few days and then start editing, because I try to publish at least once a month, so there's not a lot of time to let the manuscript sit for like months. And I realize I prefer that, because usually I kind of tend to forget details after a month. So like the hot spot for me is waiting a week and then editing. And I don't think I take it in steps, like doing different types of edits. I just go through it and fix everything that I can, from content to little mishaps like using the wrong name or changing tenses or I don't know, like really detailed typos. And I do it all at once because that, I don't know.
I have a really hard time editing all of that at once. I find that that's really difficult for me, especially because I don't remember details very clearly. So sometimes I won't remember by the time I get to the point later in the manuscript, I won't remember what color hair I said they had in the first chapter. So
Can I have a suggestion for that?
Okay.
Install Scrivener. And use
I have
the character
installed Scrivener. I opened it up. It intimidated me. I closed it. I haven't touched it again.
It's fine. I'll film a quick guide for you and send it to you. The thing is that in Scrivener, under your chapters, you have character sheets, and those I find really useful because I use the full name, and then
But
in
you
the
have
sheet,
to use them.
Yeah, but it takes like 5 minutes.
But I won't do it.
Not even when you edit. Like not when you write, but for when you edit. You can create a character sheet, and then as you go from chapter to chapter editing, if you forget what color eyes someone is, you can go to that character sheet.
Well, that's what I do, but I do it on paper because I edit on paper. Like I can barely read on a computer screen. It hurts my eyes really bad.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, it wouldn't have you.
That's why I have my Excel spreadsheet, because I printed it out for that exact same reason. I can carry it with me and edit whenever.
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't. It like really burns my eyes.
Okay, then yeah, then it makes sense. You would do it on paper, but
yeah. So that's why I just keep a paper log. But I do that on one pass through and pick up on like smaller edits. And I do that after I run a big edit.
Okay.
So I've usually caught almost everything. But that's where I catch all the stragglers, basically. I used to edit like 7 or 8 specific times. I would print them, like this was some crazy kind of mental health problem-y stuff. First edit was printed in black, second edit was printed in green, third edit was printed in red. Like, that's how I went through them. Partly because I couldn't afford to buy black ink all the time. Because I would run out of black ink. And I was, like, in college when I was doing this. So instead of worrying about the black ink, I would just print them in different colors. So I'd use the colored ink up at a different rate. So I could use it longer.
That makes sense.
And, like, once the black was gone, you couldn't use the colored ink anymore.
Right.
So there was a full black ink in it. Which not all machines do that, but that one did, and it really pissed me off. So I was like, fine, I'll just print them in different colors, and then you can fucking bite me.
See, I'd have probably done it in reverse. I'd had the colors first, and then the black be the final.
Yeah, no, I don't ever have a final. I don't like, there's never a time when I don't end up writing on it. I can't help myself. If I print it out, I write on it. It's fine once it's like in an actual bound book. Like that's all right. But if I print that shit out, nope, I'm gonna write on that shit. Although I do write in bound books. I'm that person.
No judgment.
And I dog ear them. I am bad to books because I love them.
I don't because I love you.
I was just thinking about it. In the last few years, like 5 or 6, I bought maybe, let me check, 1, 2, 5 or 6 paperbacks, and I only bought them because I was at author conferences and I wanted autographs. But other than that, I just buy everything on Kindle, and I buy a lot of them. Which makes it hard to show off my new shelves. Because
yeah, that's why I'm trying really hard to learn to read on screens, is so that I can buy ebooks. But like I'm practicing on your book, so it's going to take me a little longer than it should because it's hard on me.
Oh, which one? Oh, Craving Stains. Yeah, I get it.
but I'm trying to train my eyeballs.
Do you have a Kindle or just
Yes.
a tablet? Yeah, well,
Yeah, no.
Kindle should be lighter on your eyes. So
Yeah, and I have the
least
blue
that.
screen up, which I feel like helps me a little bit too.
Mhm. Yeah, that
So-
sucks because without it, I'd be at a loss. Like buying books from the States for me without the e-books option.
Yeah.
That would be a tragedy. I'd have to
Yeah.
wait for 3 to 4 weeks, and
And it would be so expensive.
delivering it kind of doubles the price. Easy.
I was gonna say probably more in a lot of cases because indie books range so fucking wide.
It's not because of the indie books, it's because of the VAT that's put on top of that price, and then the stupid
Right, but I
transport.
mean, like, because their prices range so wide, I'm sure a lot of times a cheap book would probably end up costing a whole lot.
Yeah, no, I think in most cases the really expensive one are the Threadpub ones.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you only have the hardcover version and they don't put the paperback on. That kind of kills it. But for indie books, from what I've noticed, people pretty much go with the lowest they can.
Yeah, usually.
So that in most cases, people make less royalty on a paperback than an ebook.
Yeah,
That costs a third of the paperback.
right.
That's the reality of it, because printing on demand is a great thing. It helps us print paperbacks, but it's more expensive than printing large scale. Doing a large print run will always be cheaper. So
It's relatively expensive.
But we were talking editing and I hijacked the conversation.
Oh, it's fine. We have all night, goddammit.
Yes, we do.
I kind of cried at that a little. On the inside, but I did kind of cry a little.
You can sleep in a salon.
Yeah, no, I can't.
You should try it. It'll be lovely.
I tried. I just can't. Like,
You'll be so high on the fumes from your own head. Just let them take over.
Even when they do like the scalp massage when they wash your hair, and that's super soothing. Even with that, I can't fall asleep in a salon. And I'll tell you why. It's because I'm short.
Yeah.
And most times those things that they wash you in are uncomfortable. Yeah. They're uncomfortable as fuck for really short people. I mean, they try to accommodate me, but they're not made for people as short as I am.
It's actually a problem if you're not within a very small range, because I have the exact same problem. Like my shoulders hit it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I'm like
guys.
barely reaching it.
My shoulders hit it, and then my neck's long enough that they end up having to hold my head while they're washing it. Because otherwise, I'm like, can't hold my head up that long, dude. Hold it for me.
Right.
Hey, at least I can walk on the street and not hit windows if they're open because I'm too short to reach them. Also, in case anyone missed this nice story in the live stream with Claire, I did go to the store trying to buy some cider, which I have like twice a year. And I went home because I couldn't reach it. So, yeah, because it was on the top shelf and in the back. And this was like late at night when the night shift consists of maybe 2 people. So there was no one in the store to help me. And they'd also hidden the little stairs that you can step on. It's like a little tiny ladder, but that's enough to reach. And they'd hidden that. So I looked at it and I turned and I got some Coke Zero and went home.
That's so sad.
Exactly. That's how my boyfriend described it. So did you go home like a sad little dwarf? And I was like, yeah, I totally did. Well,
at least I had my Coke Zero.
The thing is that he said that after I threatened to force him to come to the store with me every time I went so that he can reach stuff from the shelves.
Right?
But yeah, it was sad. So the next time I went in and they had cider, I took 2 bottles. By the way, 2 bottles. One of these bottles, the really small one, the 330 milliliters. So I don't know how much that is in your weird measurements, but it's tiny.
It's just under 12 fluid ounces. So it's a little smaller than a regular can.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the Coke cans, which are smaller here.
Yeah, because this is 355.
Yeah.
How's
Yeah.
this fair?
That's
You
the
that
only
fast
reason I have a
enough or
frame of
what?
reference is because I'm literally drinking one. Otherwise, I have no idea what milliliters means.
Yeah. So yeah, it's tiny. It has probably the same or less alcohol than beer, and it tastes sweet and of pear, so it's great. But I still can't have it too often because I tend to get a bit dizzy from just one of those tiny bottles. Yeah. Lightweight.
Okay,
And
we love you anyway.
this chat turned into short people problems.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm too tall for my kitchen cabinets and the ATM.
Oh my god!
I busted my head on the ATM twice in one visit.
You know, there
Right
are
here.
ATMs that are just too high for me, so I have to just struggle to see what they say, especially if there's also some sunlight coming in because it goes over my head and I see nothing on the freaking screen. It's awesome.
Yeah, this one is like wheelchair height.
Oh god.
So it's really, and then so like the housing on it comes out a little bit. So I lean in to try to see it, and it's like,
Oh.
and all of a sudden I don't know what day it is.
I'll mail you our bump caps from work. You'll hit your head even more.
Oh god.
I don't think I ever used to hit my head at work, ever. Even when I wore caps, and then we suddenly get these bump caps, and I can't feel where anything is, and I think I've hit my head at least twice a day since we got them.
Oh.
So stupid.
CJ, how do you edit?
So generally speaking, I edit the first 5 chapters 6 or 7 times, and then I get distracted and I stop editing. And then when I go back to edit, I'm like, I can't remember what I did, so I'm going to edit the first 5 or 6 chapters again.
You need
So
to
that's how I
hide those
edit.
5 chapters from yourself.
I know. I need to like once there, I'm just like, nope, I'm just gonna start on chapter 6 or chapter 7. And the only problem then is that like chapters 1 through 5 will be like all polished and stuff, and then chapters 7 through whatever are gonna be okay, and chapter 6 won't get edited at all. Like that's how that's gonna happen. I can just no. As far as editing goes, so I do. Because I don't plan as much as Alina does in the beginning before I write, but neither do I write psychically like Sarah does, which by the way blows my mind because it really does come out and it's like it's a story, and if I did that it would be absolute nonsense. Like couldn't do it.
To be fair, I am also an expert at absolute nonsense.
That is true. That is true.
That always helps.
Yeah, I'm really good at it.
So my first edit always has to be almost a complete rewrite where I go through and I'm like, okay, this scene is okay. This scene is okay. Okay, this scene has nothing to do with the story. It's not even in the story anymore. So I'm going to have to rewrite this because I changed this 3/4 of the way through the story and it no longer is a thing. So I have to rewrite it so it looks like this. And then usually about chapter 6, I get distracted. So that's how I edit.
I have to say, because you mentioned the plotting part, I did notice that the more I plot, the less I edit. Because when I plot, I don't have to worry about developmental edits so much.
Yeah.
And that's helped. That's helped a lot because it goes so much smoother. And I pretty much do like line edits and minor proofreading and maybe change a scene or two if I don't like the tone of it or things like that. And then ship it to my editor, and then she'd go through it and start cutting. I have an editor that cuts everything that's extra and not needed or doesn't make sense or it's repetitive. So that's great because I try to make the manuscript as tight as I can myself, but honestly there are things I can't see. Like I'm shit at editing. That's probably why. My own work, when it's other people's work, I notice it faster.
Yeah.
I shorten stuff. I just not so much with my own. It's probably because by the time you do a first edit, you know your story pretty well. At least for me, I'm the kind of person that remembers a lot of detail. For example, if I've watched a murder mystery TV series once, I can watch it again like 6 years later and it makes no sense to rewatch it because I know who did it like 1/3 through the episodes, so not fun anymore. So that helps with the editing too, but sometimes I do mismatch things. But because I remember so much of it, I think what's in my head and what's on paper don't always match, and I can't see where I've added the extra bits. Thank God my editor does.
Because she's seen it for the first time.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Well, see, I think for me, because I handwrite compared to all y'all that type, I get kind of an extra edit in because I'll sit there and I'll do a word sprint or whatever, and whether it's 500 or 5,000 words, when I go to type it, I find that I'm always switching words around here or there, where
Yeah.
I'm like, why did I put that sentence? And so I'm able to cut right then, and then I'll reread whatever page.
I do that when I'm
sure
entering my edits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
then I have that same.
Yeah, but after I do the typing it all back up or whatever, I'll read that page to make sure that what I put actually flows, so that it's consistent.
Well, you
I
have
did
a
not
buddy
realize you
here
had-
for, yeah. Trinda's here and she's super
I know. I
excited
knew
about
I
that
turned it in.
because she handwrites too.
I wish I could like type all the time, but like my life just I would never get anything written, like literally.
That's understandable.
I'm at a
sister was-
computer 90% of the day.
Same.
See, I even bought, when I got my new tablet after I sold my mom my Kindle, I actually even got the Bluetooth keyboard and all that so I could type straight into Google Docs. And I just found that the keyboard lagged so much by the time it actually typed in what I wrote. I was 5 sentences away and it just wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of typing in line, like I'm typing here, but I don't see any of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I've had lag that did that before, but I've never had it consistently do that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just the tablet, because it wasn't like, not the tablet, but the keyboard, because it wasn't the most expensive one or anything, but I didn't know if I would like it. Plus, it was really small. Like, my tablet's basically an 8 by 5, something like that. So the tablet is small in itself, and the keyboard is meant to fold up and fit the tablet,
Right.
kind of like Alina's Fire. So it was hard to type on to begin with, and then that, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll just keep handwriting.
I've not even tried mine.
Oh, you have it?
Nope. I haven't tried it yet because I switched to Scrivener and I have all my writing there. And
I
Scrivener
downloaded
has
it. I
an
hadn't used it yet.
Scrivener has an Apple, whatever it is, app,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have one for Android yet. I hope they're planning on it. So because of that, I can't really type on my tablet, so I haven't tried it. But in the future, if they don't change that, I'll just have one project for the tablet that I do in Word in their OneDrive version, so in the online version of the document. So I can take the tablet with me and go to Starbucks and type, and that's fine.
I need to get something for my tablet because I have my computer is an all-in-one, so it's essentially a giant tablet, but it's a 20-inch giant tablet. And that weighs a lot and is also a little clunky, so I need to get like a keyboard for my Kindle or something. That's the only tablet I have right now. So, so I pretty much only write at my desk.
Well, if you're looking for it, I totally recommend the guys who made my cover, because it's so smartly done. It's magnetic, so when I stick the keyboard on it, it's not like it's going to fall or anything.
Right.
And that's helpful.
Because I like to write out in the middle of nowhere. Like, that's one of my favorite things. I haven't done it in ages.
I like it too. I think in the future, the plan is to invest in a desktop computer.
I mean, you can invent anything you want to invent, Lena. I believe in you.
Too bad the desktop computer was already invented. God damn it. But I am working on a drug with Bob and Mike to get Warforged high, so that counts, right?
Sure.
Yeah, once I do that, my laptop will no longer be my main computer, so I'll be able to travel with, just take it places more. Because now it's a bit stationary because I have the huge screen plugged to it and all that jazz. Or maybe I just get lucky and these people finally do a version for Android, and then I'll go and say, take all my money. It's fine. I love Scrivener.
I am going to try it. It just did intimidate me a great deal. When I opened it, I was like, I just want to write right now. I don't want to learn a thing.
Well, see, y'all got me to download it, and then the week after that, my power went out, and I had to start Reno. So I've got it. I just haven't even.
Yeah, and that's the thing is when you don't open it, it doesn't count against your 30 days. So
yeah, I think that's brilliant.
I'm good.
That's brilliant. But I will definitely film a quick thing for you because it literally takes me 2 minutes to set up a novel.
Okay.
Send that to me too.
Yeah, sure. Because I only use like 3 features probably from Scrivener. I use the actual sections to write in, and I use the scene thingies as chapters for reasons. And I use the targets for the project and the session that show me the word count. And then I use the character sheets. That's it. 3 features. We're done. Oh, no, 4. Because I also like to use the full screen because it just shuts down everything else and all I can see is my writing. That's it.
I love that feature. Love it.
Yeah,
love it.
It's really helpful. I pair that with airplane mode and it's perfect. I get no notifications whatsoever.
See, I'm kind of like you, Alina. When I renovate and I get my bigger desk, my L-shaped desk, I can get rid of my laptop. And so I want to have 2 screens. That way I can have Scrivener up on one and then like anything that I've got to transfer over to it and stuff. I can totally block out internet and just type or write or whatever.
Yeah, I need to get a desktop computer like super bad because I also want to be able to stream video games. And right now my computer plays them fine, but it doesn't like to stream a lot of them. So my choices currently are that I'm really certain I'm going to use is Ghostmaster, which is from like 2001, and Sims Medieval, which is '02 maybe. Do you remember, CJ?
I don't.
No, it would have been later than
download
'02
that.
because it would have been while I was at the nursing home. So it would have been like maybe 12.
Yeah, it's at least 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, it's pretty damn old, and they're not like addressing it in any fucking way. So
Makes perfect sense.
it's a game that has fallen fallow.
I change computers rarely. It's like every 5 or 6 years when they just can't take it anymore. Because I buy laptops. So this one I got, it's like 2 years old now, but I got it. It's a gaming laptop, and it's really, really powerful. I made sure I got a really powerful one because I knew it had to last for like 5 to 6 years at least.
I think mine's 4 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm lucky. My laptop's only 2 because I bought it, but my boyfriend built my computer, my desktop, so I just got to get 2 nice monitors because right now I just use my TV for it, and I think all I really ever do is watch movies, and I need to change that.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's got like 5 gigs and crap ton of RAM, and I don't even use it. Like, yeah, it's got to start getting used.
Yeah, it looks like my computer's actually 5 years old. So I feel like that's fair. I feel like I do deserve a new computer after that long.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, like from a point on, they just don't work as great, and they're kind of
right. They just like they get
outdated.
bogged down in like everything you've done with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
even when
if
you clear
clean
them.
off, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when you clean them off, they're still
Not the same.
Right.
not the same.
Yeah. But do you guys have any editing things that you have to edit over and over again that you do? That you know, like any errors you make over and over and over again for no reason?
Oh God, I have to complain about this now because you asked me. This is something I've worked on for years, and that was to cut down my freaking use of exclamation points.
Yeah.
Like, oh my freaking God. And now I'm going through my first ever published book, which was edited, by the way. It went through 2 rounds of freaking editing. And I've cut out so many exclamation marks. So many. I lost track of them. They are a lot. And beyond that, I have I have a very deep and committed and fulfilling love relationship with certain adverbs that I overuse a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they need to be cut down. But now, I'm kind of aware, so I do better. Hey, Claire. Oh, Claire's here. Oh, nice. Oh, wait, no, it's not the middle of the night for her on this stream. It's the other one.
Yeah.
I'm not as excited anymore.
I have 3 words that I constantly use, and even though I'm aware of them, I still apparently do them a lot because my CP gets on to me every freaking chapter. It's just, they, and slowly. I don't know why.
I make a typo over and over again that is borderline embarrassing, especially if you send it to the wrong person. I one time sent it to my boss in an email, and I'll say that it's, and it comes out THATITS. So it gets real awkward real fast. And then they realize what you were saying, but it's still awkward because they noticed it, and they know that they noticed it. It's awful.
I just spit up myself.
And because the chat is not going to stay here for a while, mine do also sigh a lot, smile a lot, and shrug. And there's a lot of that going on at times in dialogues, and then I get half of it cut by Lindsay.
Yeah.
At least half, maybe more.
Yeah,
And
I
she goes like,
overuse of, and then I realize, like, I use off of.
yeah,
and
and then
it's I use it all the time, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Or I'll use that wrong.
it's because
is
you
very
see
strange.
off of very often, which
Yeah.
is not correct. You just need the off without
Right.
the other of. But
Right.
because you see it all the time and it's in books a lot.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that I sometimes make mistakes that I never did before, and I know they're mistakes just because I've seen them so much. They brainwashed me, which is like if I ever in my life put an apostrophe before the S for plural, I'm probably going to have a mental breakdown. If that gets to me, because I hate it with a passion, but yet a lot of things that I hated with a passion, I then did by mistake. Like I had to mentally train myself to stop writing "You're welcome" as YOUR
Oh
instead
yeah.
of
Yep.
YOU apostrophe RE, which is the normal way of spelling it. But I was seeing it so much, like 10 million times on a daily basis, that I started doing it, and I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus, like, what the hell? What's wrong with me? Why? But that was in the beginning of my days on the internet, when I hadn't realized how affected I was by it. Never mind, words difficult. In case anyone is wondering, it's 3:37 in the morning, so I'm using that as an excuse for my normal inability of not using word. Never mind. Never mind.
You're following your rule. You're taking a drink.
Only water, kids, because I've been good in the past 3 days. I stuck to my diet. I drank a lot of water. I stuck to my restricted eating schedule, and I did yoga twice.
Nice.
Thank you.
I'm afraid of exercise.
My life is exercise.
I have fat people problems. I'm fine with it.
My mom gave me a new watch because my band broke, and this one I found out yesterday has a pedometer on it. I walk 12 miles a day at my production job in 8 hours.
That's crazy.
Wow, that's a lot.
But it doesn't feel like it. But I'm like, no wonder I'm so tired when I get home. Like, I only wonder now what I walked in 12, probably 20 freaking miles or something.
I have a leg jump problem, so I can't use a pedometer. Because I always end up like, how did I walk 37 miles? And I'm like, oh, I was stressing out, and I just thought I walked 37 miles.
Yeah.
Oh God, that sucks.
Yeah, I do that thing where my leg goes like this.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
it always thinks I'm running. It thinks I went for a jog. I did not go for a jog. That's never happened.
See, I do that when
I
I'm
don't think ever.
frustrated.
Oh Jesus, that's awful. That would
I work
drive
at
me
a
insane.
freaking desk, so there's not a lot of walking there.
Yeah, obviously.
I just applied for a desk job as a librarian.
Ooh, fun.
Ooh.
Nice.
This was the first time the position ever became open. And I was like, I like my job now, but if I could work with books and kids at the same time, why not?
Well,
Yeah,
and let
cool.
me tell you, having worked at the library, those are some weird ass people. You will experience things you have never imagined. Is it the public library?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the weird Oh
But
my goodness.
that's good book material, though.
Oh my goodness, such good. We that was my first job. I worked at a library. I worked at the public library here in town, and we had a lady come in, and she wanted to check out some books, and when they ran her card through the system, it came up that she owed money because she had turned in a book that had been destroyed. And she dropped it in the book drop, and it had been destroyed, and it had clearly been like chewed by a dog. And so the person who, and I don't remember if it was a clerk or a librarian and who was helping her, but somebody was like, so there was this book. She wanted to know why she had a fine, and they were like, there's this book. It was turned in the book drop. It was clearly chewed by a dog. We had to replace it, and so you have to pay to replace the book. You have to pay for the book itself and then the processing fee.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And this woman, I kid you not, with a straight face said, well, it wasn't like that when I put it in the book drop. And the person helping her said, are you suggesting that there is a dog in the library book drop that is randomly chewing on books? Like, well, clearly, like, this kind of thing happens. Like, clearly that's what happened because, of course.
Oh God. No, it's the first time any library job has come up, and so I'm always like just browsing them. So that came up, and it pays like $1 more starting off than I make now. So I was like, yeah, why not? And then I applied for a construction assistant job. So like 2 things I love to do, and I'll get great stories out of it from the customer service.
Yeah. I highly recommend the library. 2 thumbs up as far as the job goes. It's insane, but it's totally worth it.
My mom's like, it's right up your alley. I'm like, you think?
By the way, Sarah, I think the Twitch feed is down again. Sorry.
Is it?
Yeah. I just went in to check comments, and it's a black screen for me again.
I'm gonna check it out.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. Thank you for mentioning it. Sometimes it just acts up, though, because Twitch is dumb. They're all dumb.
Yeah.
They're all
Free
dumb.
software.
It's saying I'm offline again. I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah.
It still says I'm streaming. I have no idea.
That's weird.
I don't know. It also says it's Ghostmaster, and it's not.
It's all good.
Oh, now it says live. I don't know what the fuck it's doing.
It's
Sorry,
okay.
guys, on Twitch. It's either working or it's not.
I'll keep an eye on it. For now, it's just messing around.
Burn it down. It's an evil genius. Sorry. I'm getting weirder by the minute. I don't know what's going on with me.
It's fine.
Sorry.
It's perfectly fine. You can get as weird as you want. There's no judging here.
You don't want to invite me to get as weird as I want because Wesley Crusher is going to.
Oh my God!
What?
It's Wesley Crusher.
Oh.
CJ made him. I have the whole.
God.
I have the whole fucking crew, dude. Like, you want to see? You want to see Picard? See a Picard. Now it has devolved into Sarah being fucking weird. Sorry, it's Picard. And I accidentally knocked Jordy out, so here's Jordy.
Oh, nice!
So cute.
She's a mastermind, guys. Here's Riker.
With the beard.
Yeah, he's a suave motherfucker. This is my favorite one. This is Guinan.
Oh.
She's my very favorite.
Nice.
And then I've got like Data.
Oh, Data! I miss Data
Troy.
so much. Oh God.
Let me tell you, Troy's hair was a bitch to do.
But I love it. And then Beverly Crusher. And Worf.
Yes, Worf.
Oh.
So yeah, that's the thing I have in my life. I just got real weird on everybody there. I nerded up my stream even more than usual.
I will say they were a lot of fun to make.
Yeah,
It looks
I like
so
them a
hard
lot.
to make.
Sarah,
They're
I don't
really
know how
not.
to tell you this. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say they're really not difficult. Like the hardest part, seriously, was Troy's hair, because all of the little pieces of yarn had to be pulled apart. So you had to like. I was sitting there with actually, I think I may have used this, which is my cat's brush, and you have to like pull them apart and then separate them so it gets like real big and fluffy. But the
is
rest of
Oh,
it,
wow.
It is
they
that
were
thick.
like seriously, you crochet like little balls. You sew the little balls together,
Nah,
and then you
Sounds
just put it
complicated.
like all of the details and stuff are just sewn on. Like Jordy's mask is just yarn that's like all the way around.
Oh, okay.
So it's super easy.
Yeah,
Their
they're not,
eyes are
like-
just like little X's
See?
of yarn.
there's
Yes.
Picard's hair. It's just sewn on.
Yeah.
Oh, so
It's-
nice.
Yeah, in his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
they're
I was
not-
going to say is that it's so cute. Sarah thinks our audience is not nerdy.
No, I'm just saying that I just went extreme nerd, busting out the Star Trek.
It's okay. CJ's got just cool lights behind her out the window, so she's looking pretty nerdy cool.
Oh yeah. A second ago they were pulling out and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to mute it because they're gonna turn on the sirens. But apparently it's not busy on the street right now, so they're okay.
Firemen, man. Oh God, I remember them well.
Oh, they're hot.
The ones
no.
from the ones from the fire I didn't notice for an hour.
Right?
Or whose sirens I didn't. I think their like stealth level is 9,000 because I didn't hear all the fireman trucks coming in. Like 2 trucks and another car. 2 trucks, man, and I heard nothing. And just to give you context, because now I know more about the fire, by the time I looked up, the fire had extended to another house.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
They've
serious.
been fighting it for a while, and I heard and saw nothing, and I literally have windows all around me. But I was so focused on my computer that when I look up, I usually look up in that direction, and the fire was in that direction. So maybe that's it. Or I'm just a dumbass. It's fine.
She had blinders on.
Yep. Jesus. And the moment I saw it, it was like this sea of smoke coming towards me. And I was like, oh, should I call the firemen? I was like, oh, the fire department is already here. They've been here forever. Good
Where
job.
have you been?
Jesus.
Alina lives a special kind of life.
Yeah, but if the
Never dull.
dog twitches any wrong way, I hear it immediately, you know.
Yeah.
But the hugest fire, no.
That's okay. She was on her extra planet with her Adam and guys.
Oh, yeah.
Who's got an extra planet?
I have an extra planet because of the Angel's Feather characters,
Oh,
apparently. I would like to go there sometimes when people piss me off. Like Mars is totally overrated. The Star of Ishtar sounds so much better.
Sounds so much
It doesn't
cooler.
exist, but anyway.
Yes,
right.
it
But
does.
neither does Ryza, and I'd love to go. I just keep Star Trekking it up. I'm sorry. We started talking about.
It's
I brought
not
out
a
Star Trek
problem.
characters.
It's not a problem. I grew up with Picard and his crew, so it was the first sci-fi TV series that I've seen. The first the first sci-fi movie was Total Recall.
That lady had
Oh,
3 boobs.
yes, she did.
Yep. Yep, pretty boobs.
That's what I think. That lady had 3 boobs.
Yep,
That's
and they
amazing.
were all pretty and huge.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yep.
Look at that shit right there. That's 3 boobs.
Yeah.
That's also what my brothers, who also happened to be young children when they saw that, thought when they saw it too.
Well, you have to remember this was happening right at the end or immediately after the revolution. So we were kind of sheltered. So when we saw those 3 boobs casually displayed, we were all like, oh, I think there was a hand over my eyes at some point. I
Yeah.
I did see one of the Emmanuel movies in a cinema when I was like 6. Because I went with a family friend who was older, and she took me to the movies, and she didn't know what movie it was. So we watched it because there was one movie every 2 weeks or something like that.
Right, so
I
you
don't.
watched what you got.
Yeah, I don't remember anything of it, obviously. But I do remember the stupid Indian movie I saw like 3 years earlier that now forces me to stop whenever I see a black cat and then go take 3 steps back and jump 3 times. Oh gosh. That I remember. But the interesting stuff in Emmanuel, no, I don't remember any of that. Good job, Alina. Good job. I think it was because I was so afraid someone would kick me out. Because we got to the cinema and she was like, oh my God, this is an adult movie. Let's see if they let us in. And I spent the entire movie thinking they might decide to come and take me out of the cinema, not realizing that nobody cared. It was just like, okay, I sold the tickets. I'm doing my job. Fuck you all.
Should we try to talk more about editing?
Yeah, probably.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Is there any book y'all have ever read where the editing was bad enough you couldn't finish it?
Yes. But I don't know if it was an editing problem or whatever it was, but the phrases and the sentences and the paragraphs, they just didn't make sense. I was like, my eyes were like super wide as saucers, and I didn't understand what it was going on. I don't know if that person tried to be historical and just completely messed up the English language, but I was 10% into the book and I had no idea what was going on.
I think I had a combination. Oh, sorry.
And this was a long book, so 10% meant a few hours of investment. And I had to go back and I was like, this is so clunky and makes no sense, actually. It's just words thrown together. And it was the only book I DNF'd while being a judge, which I think is like freaking terrible. But I was like, I will be here 10 years from now and not finishing this book. Like, I'm so sorry. And I just copy pasted a paragraph where nothing made sense. And I said, sorry, like maybe send this book to someone else because I'm just, no. That was the worst.
I had one where the editing and the layout combined really fucked it. It wasn't terribly tight, but I could have gotten past that had it not like had strange indentations that came from nowhere, and sometimes the line spacing changed, and I think the font might have changed at one point. It was just a hot fucking mess. So I just know. Mm-mm.
See, I've never had one that, like, I guess was bad enough that I stopped, but I find there are certain types of things that happen in books that I just can't stand. And I don't know, maybe it's just a pet peeve of mine, but, like, I hate the words, like, those ones and these ones and stuff like that. And I've found it in 2 major bestsellers, and I stopped reading it. And then there was one book, I forget the name of it, last year where the plot was so bad, it was just, I was kind of like Lane, I was too confused, and I'm like, I just can't do this anymore, I give up. Like, I kept expecting it to make sense or follow itself back in line, and it just didn't.
CJ?
So I have this book on my shelf that a friend of mine gave me, and she handed it to me with the words, so I thought you would be interested in this because it's an indie book, but a word of caution, it's kind of awful. And yeah, it had the same issues, like the margins weren't all the same. About halfway through the book, the margins changed from
That wasn't
wide.
me, was it?
No.
Okay.
No, it was. It's one of my former bosses.
Oh, okay.
And
I was going to say, I didn't think that was the complaint I gave you about any of the books I've given you.
no, this one was one, she picked it up at a special event. She went to a special event of some kind, and she's always picking up, like, she's always giving me, you have to read this book, or hey, I thought you would enjoy this book. And I mean, she usually has some pretty good, but she said she thought the story was okay. She said, but she said, I bought it and I thought you should read it. And I think at one point she said, maybe as a tale of caution. But yeah, like the margins changed from fairly wide to almost non-existent. Like on a couple of pages, the words ran off the page. The formatting wasn't great. I mean, it clearly did not have enough formatting, editing kind of thing to make it look good. And I made it about 4 chapters in, and then I started skimming rather than actually reading.
Yeah.
And the story, the plot, or the idea behind it was really compelling, but there were lots of typos. There were a couple of places where the person who I thought was talking wasn't talking. It was another person who I didn't even know was in the scene. I mean, like, it was just, there was a lot of inconsistency.
Yeah, I get it.
On the other hand, I too have seen books that are at the very least traditionally published, and I don't know if they're bestsellers or anything, but they're pretty popular books that have some pretty glaring typos.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And T said in the chat that she's petty when it comes to traditionally published books. I honestly am that way too. I mean, if it's a small print, it might get a pass, but if it's a bigger publisher and the book is crap, proofreading, it annoys me, because they always say those are better edited, better proofread, better whatever, and they're not. But what I've noticed a lot, that when it comes to editing, readers tend to nitpick a lot more on indie books than traditionally published books. And I was like completely shocked at one point that I had my books with my publisher for like a year and a half. People came and read and reviewed. 2 of them were on bestseller lists on all romance, so there were a lot of people reading them at one point. And nobody ever complained about editing. I got my rights back. I got the edited versions of the books. I went through them again myself and caught a few things, formatted them nicely, whatever, published them, and then I started getting reviews about, oh, it needs more editing because there are typos. I'm sorry. And for the past year and a half where there were more typos, nobody saw them. Nobody cared, because traditionally published was still a label people were looking after, which I find, like, it's not okay. I mean, if you have this leeway for traditionally published books, you shouldn't make it harder on indie authors. You should have the same expectations from books. That's how I see it. But yeah, it happened. And it was literally the same book, only more polished, slightly, and with a nice new cover. That's it.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. And I've seen it. I mean, I've seen books that I'd read and they had a lot more typos per chapter, let's say, than mine had. And because they were from small prints, but still from a publisher, nobody mentioned anything about the editing. Nobody. Like, not a word.
Yeah.
And yeah. On the other hand, I did see indie books that had been edited by an editing company and that were riddled with errors and typos, like riddled. And at this point, you don't even know who to blame. Because, I mean, the writer did their best. They went to this group of editors to get their book done nicely, and the editors were like, also, I mean, I assume they had beta readers. Like, for me, when it comes to editing, what pisses me off the most and what I'm really careful about is some sort of accuracy. If you say you have this vampire who's been living since the time of the gladiators, his real name can't be Dylan.
Right.
For obvious fucking reasons. Like, no.
Dylan the Gladiator.
I mean, I'm not sure if it was Dylan exactly or something similar, but it was clearly an English name that was kind of modern. And no, that backstory just didn't work. And for that one, I'm like, okay, this one is on you, author. I'm sorry. And I'm trying not to make mistakes like that. I'm really trying not to.
Research 101.
Yeah. I mean, I think that plot twist came into later in the story. Like, I think it was about book 3 of the series when this reveal happened, maybe because it needed another plot twist. I have no clue. But I was like, what? No. You can't possibly tell me the dude from the past that knows him since they were gladiators comes to him and calls him Dylan. Like, no. No. I stopped reading the series after that book. I was like, no, I'm done. I invested in 3 books. Like, that's fine. I'm done now.
He could have called him Spartacus, and that would have worked.
Fail.
She could have. They could have. I don't remember. It was as sure he is for the author, but they could have gone with any Roman sounding name, like anything that sounds like it had a Roman or something,
or even like
a made up name, because gladiators came from all the places.
Right. But you could even do like an anglicized version of the name, like Mark, like instead of Marcus, or something like that. There's a lot of possibility there too, because like when you
not Dylan.
No, not Dylan.
Yeah, because
Dylanus.
I know an author who writes mysteries surrounding Vampire PI, who is Roman, and his current name is Mark Julian, which makes total sense. Like, it makes perfect sense. So there are so many names that are as modern as you want, but hail from Latin names. So why Dylan? Like, why?
Yeah, that's too sloppy. That's just,
yeah, do a little bit of work.
Just a tiny bit. Like, it doesn't have to be a lot.
Like, I'm the laziest fucking writer on the planet. That shit's lazy. I'm so fucking lazy that I refuse to fucking plot a goddamn thing. I refuse to remember what I wrote yesterday. I don't know. I'll reread it.
Yeah, but you'll reread it. Your Roman gladiator won't be called Dylan.
No, he's still.
And the thing I'm mesmerized about is that I see these in cases of authors who have like critique partners and beta readers and editors. And
who didn't call them out on that?
No one told them, because maybe they didn't think about it. They just liked the name. They started writing the character like that, and they got to that scene and didn't change it. Oh my god.
Brenda just said, "You mean you don't remember the famous Emperor Dylan Maximus?"
Oh my god.
I forget the chat goes away afterwards. Yeah,
Oh,
you gotta
God.
read that. That's hilarious, dude.
And then maybe she just didn't think about it. If someone could say, hey, make this dude call him by a different name.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh god. It would almost have been better Roman the Roman or something. Because at least that'd make more sense.
Well, and it never hurts, like, if you know you're going to do, and you don't want to do the research yourself, it's always worth it to, like, hand it over to somebody who knows about that kind of
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
Like, one of my stories, I had horses in them. I know nothing about horses. I have been on a horse maybe half a dozen times in my entire life, and almost every time I was scared to death. I'm not a horse person, and I'm okay with not being a horse person. But if I'm going to write about them, I should at least know something about them. So I went to a friend of mine who is a horse person. I was like,
You
hey.
would make a lovely horse. Sorry, you keep saying horse person, and I have no choice.
Thank you.
You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna remember that, and I'm gonna make CJ a half horse person when my next book.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You mean a centaur or a horse shifter?
I'm trying to think of what a centaur would be as a female version. Is it still a centaur? I don't know.
Yeah, it's still a centaur.
No, you can make her a centaur or a horse shifter. It's still half horse.
There you go. There you go. I'll put you in my shifter series.
But I went to my friend and I was like, so is this something that you would do? And I know she's read other stuff of mine, and she like puts notes, and she's like, so you have them doing this with the horse. This would not be a good thing to do with the horse. You know, I can't even think of exact things that she suggests, but she gives really good like information. Just have somebody who knows something about that read it, or at least say, hey, do you see any inaccuracies or whatever? I mean, like, that shouldn't be too
even
much.
bestsellers have people they go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you expect, like, if you go see a movie, you expect them to be accurate. So find someone who can make you be accurate. Like, you don't have to be an expert in everything. You just have to know who to go to.
Yes.
Right.
I will say this as well. So actually the same person, the horse person that I know, she is also a writer. And one of the things she does is when she gets to her last edit or her second to last edit before she sends it off, she reads it out loud to her husband. And she said, well, first of all, I think it's wise that she does it with her husband. Her husband is he is not a free spirit person. He's very A-type personality. He worked in insurance his entire life.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah.
So
And he
like
liked
the
it.
grandfather from Gilmore Girls?
Yes. 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 That is very, very similar. He doesn't wear three-piece suits, but yeah, that's
Close enough, though.
yeah, he's very, very close. But she's talked a lot about how he'll be like, that didn't make sense. You need to fix that. And she says not only does he give good feedback to her, but she finds that by reading through it out loud, she catches more typos, more inconsistencies, and things like that. So I think that like that's always something that I've wanted to try if I ever get past editing chapter 5.
I have faith in chapter 6, CJ.
I'm glad somebody does. I'm not even sure chapter 6 exists anymore.
I believe in chapter 6. It's the only thing I believe in.
Yeah.
Send me chapter 6. We'll get it edited.
All right.
Brenda said that Stack Exchange and Quora are super helpful for asking questions, and they are, and so are author groups, because there are people who wrote in the same genre and did the research, and they can point you in the direction of what to do.
Or someone who used to work in that field before they were writing, or works in that field now as their other job, and like they can just answer that question without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. On one of the Facebook writing chat people that I'm on this week, they were talking about, for whatever reason, one person decided to pop up and say, hey, if anybody has any questions about this is what I do for a living, I can help you. And then it started a firestorm, and like, there's somebody that hunts ghosts, there's somebody that's in car sales, there's somebody that's a fire prevention expert, like all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to remember this.
And I'm still trying to find a Romanian police officer that's willing to talk about things with me.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing.
Because I can't, I mean, like for that serial killer thriller I want to use, I can't use any of my police work or FBI work knowledge that I know and apply it to Romania, because it doesn't work that way.
Right.
No, it's not working that way. Also, I'm sort of biased on how bad things are from the time they investigated my mugging.
Yeah.
So I would like to talk to someone who can explain things to me, because there are things that I can't find out on my own, because it's not like you can Google what would it happen if an FBI agent came to a local police station to help them with a murder. Like, it's not like it happens every day, so that there's information about it.
It's also not the kind of thing they would talk about if it was happening.
Yeah,
Right.
I know that the FBI kind of sends equipment to the Romanian police, because it was mentioned in a hilarious book by a Romanian author that I personally adore. So, because the thing is, he got this weird envelope during the anthrax craze.
Oh,
You
wow.
make it sound like the anthrax craze, like it's a dance movement.
Oh God, no!
Dude,
But everyone and their mother around the world was sure they will get an anthrax envelope, and nobody cares about Romania. I'm sorry to say that, but nobody cares to send anthrax envelopes here. There were jokes about terrorists coming here and then just going home saying that I can't do anything to these people. They do it all to themselves. I'm going home. It's no point. So it's not like we're this hub of power that people are interested in, but he got a really strange envelope, and he went to the police with it, so that they did it, and there was an entire scene about how the policeman explained they had equipment, fancy equipment from the FBI, but it was still in the basement because nobody knew how to install it. So I don't know how much of that is reality and how much is fiction, obviously, but the part that's important is that at least I know about the shipment of equipment that the FBI sent. So, but I also know, I know on instinct that they probably don't have access to a lot of databases. Like they have in the US or any other countries, like the systems between police and other departments of anything, they're not linked, so you can't do searches.
Right.
You really can't, and it's not easy. So I really need to know what's happening and how, and I don't have anyone to talk to. Because I had a friend who had a friend, and it was I thought it was a close friend of his, but she absolutely refused, telling me she couldn't reveal this information about me to me. And I was like, I'm pretty sure this is public information. I mean, if I want to necessarily, I'll go and buy a manual on police procedure. They're available everywhere. But, you know, that doesn't tell me anything about the interaction in an office or systems of hierarchy and whatever.
Right.
But I'm still looking. I'll find someone. And that book is going to get written.
You can do it.
Oh, God. Hopefully.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say at this point.
What were we talking about? Research and editing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've covered a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
In
I
between
think
all the
it kind of
details.
boils down to don't be lazy.
Yes. Or be lazy where it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because, I mean, if you fixed your plot and your characters and you're too lazy to do 3 more rounds to catch all your own typos, that's fine, because you're going to send it to an editor and then you're going to send it to a proofreader, and it's fine. That's fine. But the core of the story, the plot and the characters and your style and consistencies, those you have to take the time and do. And yeah, research. I mean, if it's a topic you know nothing about, maybe do some research.
Right.
How much editing do y'all do? Like, well, you send yours to your editor, Alina, but like, do y'all send stuff to beta readers and then edit after that? After
No,
you do the beta round edits?
No, I don't use beta readers because there's just no time.
That's what I said. Other than you, because you're writing all the books.
Yeah, I have a handful of readers who read for me, but only 2 of them are actively reading for me. But they're basically a round of editing. So I take their notes, I combine them, I go through, and I kind of use their notes to juggle. And then I think there's 1 more round after that.
I think I loved Jenna Morris's take on that because she has a very clear beta readings process, and she has questionnaires for all of them.
Yep.
Which I think makes it really easy to process feedback. The thing is that I did use beta readers for like the first half of Sky and Storm like 3 million years ago when I first wrote it, and I found that it wasn't the most helpful thing because most of them were like, "Oh, this is so great! I want to read more of it." It wasn't super in depth, and one of them was a book reviewer. The others were voracious readers, so you would have expected more from them.
Well, everyone that I have on my list is actually writers, so that does kind of help with that because they do have a little more of the experience of actually like being able to say what they want to do.
Well, yeah, but these people were better readers for other writers. I expected different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But Sarah
It wasn't
does
the
include
first
questions.
Mm.
Sarah does include questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about that, honestly.
Which, as a beta reader, helps me think, because I read through the questions first before I go through the chapter. And then I can be thinking about, and I don't always like, sometimes there's a question that I'm like, yeah, I don't really have an answer for that. There really wasn't anything in this chapter that, but the next chapter I might be like, oh, yes, I have an answer for that question. So,
well, and some of my questions I'm just asking for every chapter because I want to track it.
Right. And that,
wait, also I decided I'm a liar. I'm a fucking liar.
Why are you a fucking liar?
I did use betas on a larger scale and with better results for Bad Blood for the first and second book, mostly for the second book. So I did that then, and that worked okay. And then it backfired for Sky and Storm, and then I stopped using it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think as you get better at writing, they have a harder time coming up with stuff. And so I think it kind of depends on what their skill level is.
Yeah.
See, like I had questions for everyone, but like when I went into my beta reading process, like I specifically wanted a third of readers, a third of writers, and then just kind of a third of anyone. Just, people that kind of read or did or didn't like the genre. And I also had questions. I had some questions that were in every chapter, and then certain ones that like things I wasn't sure about if I should cut or if it sounded right, and I would ask those questions, and that helped a lot. But some people go and do like second rounds of beta readers and stuff like that, and I don't know, I find that too tedious.
I think it can, I mean, honestly, if I would get ahead enough to have time for this, I would consider doing rounds of beta reading. Well, one, not more. Let's face it, I would never do more than one because no.
I think if you do it right, you don't need more than one.
You might, see, this is the thing. I think it depends a lot on what your process is. If you do a lot of rewrites and you change a lot, I remember watching a few Jenna Moresi videos and hearing how many words she cuts out because she's an overwriter.
Yeah.
In that case, when you remove so much after a round of beta, I understand why you'd need another one to make sure everything still makes sense.
Right.
But if it's only light edits that you do, then you don't need that much. But I would like to do one just because it can help to detect problems, which might not have anything to do with your story development. It might just have to do with something that pisses people off, and all people react badly to it. That's if it takes you, I don't know, by surprise. I wasn't surprised that some people thought Adam went super dark, and that was horrible of me to do. I wasn't surprised about that. I knew that was coming.
I made it good.
And they were even more upset because I made him likable. So that one I expected. I didn't need betas to tell me, oh, this is bad, man. I hate this part.
I wondered how much flack you would get for the ending when he finally gets on the ship and blows the other one up.
Really?
Sorry, what? I didn't catch all of that.
So I just wondered how much flack you would get at the end of Angel's Feather when he gets on the ship and does that thing.
Oh yeah, that was the problem everyone had. Obviously, that was the thing that annoyed them.
Oh.
Because he was kind of brutal.
Yeah.
Honestly, those people had no chance. But and he discusses that a bit in the next book. But yeah, it was a tough choice I made. But like, this was a completely broken, single-minded character. How that surprised anyone is beyond me. I mean, it kind of is surprising, but kind of not. So
desperation.
Anyway,
that's desperation does everything.
Yeah, and but I was fine with that. I knew there would be people who would be angry at me for that. But there are authors that do things and then they end up with this backlash that they never knew about. And I think for that, beta readers are good. And also maybe for pointing out cultural differences. Because I had to, had I not been published with a publisher, I might have skipped on that. But I remember them telling me to just change some things, even if the character in question was Romanian, because his thoughts or behavior could come across weird to an American audience. Which made or didn't make a lot of sense, but she was kind of right now that I think about it. Not about that particular story. I don't think that many people would have cared, but seeing how people react to certain things I think it was a good choice. So maybe for that, beta readers can help a lot. I don't know. It also depends a lot on the genre. Because, I mean, Sarah, you write horror. I mean, I don't think anybody will be surprised if bad, scary things happen.
Nope. I never hear about that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not a problem I have. But I'm sure someone will have a problem with something. I'll let you know. But so are we gonna wrap this up now then? Is that where we're at?
Well, that seems to bring a certain spark in your eyes. So I think we can wrap up with an hour and a half. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I want to eat my food. Sorry, guys. I'm starving. I don't know why, but I am. So I guess we'll start with Alina. And do you have anything to plug? Will you say anything?
The only thing I have to plug right now is that, well, we have the live chat tomorrow on my channel, as usual.
Or
Unless Sarah wants to change it again, like last week. We're probably discussing author tools.
no, I didn't come up with anything. Sorry.
The stuff we're using for automation, for writing tools in general, because I thought that would be interesting. And on Sunday, I'm actually going to be on a radio podcast with Nikki J. Marcus. It's Author Chat Live or Author Live Chat. I can't remember, but it's on Beaten Track Radio, and it's going to be streamed on their website and through Facebook and everything. And if you follow me on Facebook, you'll definitely see a link to the event over there. And yeah, that happens at 2 p.m. Eastern. So that's 1 p.m. Central.
Yep.
Hope it will be fun.
Okay. Amber, you have anything?
Not this week.
Okie doke. CJ?
Go visit her YouTube channel.
Yeah, do that.
Just writing videos.
Yeah, go hear about how crappy my month was this February.
Right?
And it hasn't ended. Ear.
Okay.
CJ?
So I decided to move my Music Monday videos to one a month rather than one a week because they were kind of driving me insane and taking up too much writing time. So I should be posting the next one, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday. And then my Writing Wednesday videos every Wednesday. Those are easy. So.
Okay. And everybody's links are down below. You can also find all my links down below. So I think that kind of does it. We'll see you guys all next week and tomorrow morning.
Don't you ever take the time to promote your own shit, Sarah, because I'm definitely going to let you do that.
I did! They're all down there!
Right. So Sarah's books are on Amazon right now. They're new to Amazon and you can try them out.
Here we go. Let's
I
go
know.
Sarah.
Yay!
Oh, look at them get busted out.
I got one chapter left. I'm so like,
I got that too. I'm saving it for the readathon. And she also has a new author page, which I invite you all to follow.
Bless you,
Excuse
CJ.
me. Sorry.
Thank you. And it's okay. I'm done. I'm happy now. I promoted everyone.
Okay. Alina put the smack down, so I think it's time for us to yeah, so we have a live stream Thursday. Is it Tamara Woods or is it Tamara?
I have
don't
no
know.
idea.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it.
I mean, I when I watch her videos, I always pay attention to how she pronounces her own name and then forget because I'm a dumbass.
I know. I have a problem with it. I'm sorry. We're both sorry. We're all sorry. Everybody's sorry.
I just
on
have
Thursday,
two.
around 2 p.m.-ish, I would assume that's Central Time. Tamara. Okay, Tamara.
Okay.
Thank you, Tamara.
I'm
That's
just
what I
sad it
thought,
said
but I didn't
two.
want to guess and be a dumbass. So over on her channel around 2 p.m. Is that Central Time, Tamara? I don't know. It'll take a second for her to hear me ask that question. So
I don't know.
it'll
I
be
always
2
write with her.
p.m.-ish.
I always write with her in the afternoons on Thursdays. So
Eastern
Oh,
time.
it's
So
easy.
it's 1 o'clock. So I'll have to turn it on at work and not write, but that's what I usually do, and that's on anyway. So when I see it, but notifications and whatnot. So yeah, I guess we'll see you guys all tomorrow morning, and then again next week. And then of course subscribe to all of our channels so that you can see all of our videos, because we also do regular old videos like normal YouTubers.
Yes, please. I just published one, so go watch that.
Go watch Alina's videos. She talks about a lot of books. And if you haven't read those books, you might want to read those books. And if you have read those books, you might want to tell her how awesome you thought they were. So there you go.
See, now if you can learn to do that for yourself, that's perfect.
right?
I can be totally full of shit for anyone else. Like, I'm just ridiculous for other people. I can't do it for me.
It's okay. I'll do it every week. It's fine.
All right. So we'll see you guys all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.